Okay, this is Nicole Pilo, and I'm walking through the emotional blueprint conversation. So this is great. Now you understand the scope of the work that I do. So now I just want to ask you some questions to walk you through some of the questions about what you want to do in life, right? Big goals. So I want you to think big, and it doesn't have to be numbers. It could be actual stuff that you want. Okay?
Okay, all right.
All right, good. So when we're sitting here 3 to 5 years from now, and we're looking back on all the great work we've done together, what will we need to have accomplished for you to feel like your life is a success?
Wow, that is a big question.
Yes, it is.
Well, probably want to make sure that I'm making progress towards retirement, whatever that means, saving money.
Mm-hmm. Are you saving now?
Somewhat.
Okay.
I try to as much as I can, but I'm not sure what it'll do for me down the road. That's
Okay.
why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have another dog.
Okay. How many dogs do you have now?
One dog.
Okay. What's your dog's name?
His name's Bubbles.
Bubbles. What kind of dog is he?
He's a basset hound.
Okay. Nice. All right. You want to have another dog? Is that sooner rather than later?
Definitely in the next year.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm currently engaged, so I'll obviously be married
Okay.
by that time, and hopefully, God willing, we're able to have children at some point, and that's both personal planning and financial planning.
Okay. And let's back up for just a second. What's your fiance's name?
His name is Matt.
Okay. How did you guys meet?
We met through work friends.
Okay. And how did he pop the question? Or did you ask him?
We were at the Biltmore Estate, so a little trip.
Nice.
Beautiful.
All right, good. When did you get engaged?
Last October,
Okay, and when is the wedding?
next May.
Okay, and are you all paying for that, or is this going to be a traditional parents are helping you out with that one?
We are not
Okay.
paying for it.
Okay. Good.
My dad is a check writer. So.
Fantastic. That's so nice. Does your dad live here in town?
He does.
Okay, good. Your parents still married?
They are.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right, sorry. So you want to be engaged, get married, maybe have children one day.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And what about work goals or life goals, things that you love to do or want to make sure you have time or money to do?
I mean, we like to travel.
Okay.
Working a lot right now, trying to, grow in our careers. So I
Mhm.
hope at some point that we have a nice, healthy work-life balance
Mhm.
and moving up in our job roles.
So tell me a little bit about your current positions and where you guys think you might want to go.
Well, I'm a doctor,
Okay.
and I'm in residency.
Mm-hmm.
So, you go through that part, and once you get over that hurdle, then you move in and start making more money, hopefully, and get a good position. So, put in your time to hopefully have the financial freedom down the road.
Okay, and what type of physician are you? What,
Family medicine.
family medicine.
Yeah.
Where do you practice?
CMC.
Okay. Here at the main campus?
There's a place by the Arboretum
Okay.
that we are.
All right.
So in there.
Great. How many more years of residency do you have?
2.
2. Okay, perfect. And Matt, what does he do?
He is an engineer.
Okay. What kind of an engineer?
He does structural engineers,
Okay.
buildings and steel. That's
Cool.
about as much as I know about it.
All right, well, that's good. Maybe when we get him in here next time, he can tell me a little more about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good. I like engineers. Is he big with numbers, spreadsheets, like stuff like that?
Spreadsheets, computers.
Okay. How about you? Do you like spreadsheets? Are you more visual?
I think I like to talk visual, but
Okay.
I like to understand the numbers too.
Okay. All right, good. Well, we'll make sure that we communicate a little bit of both for you.
Gotcha.
All right, very good. Anything else in the short term, next 3 to 5 years, that you feel like you might want me to understand that you'd like to accomplish?
That's probably it.
Okay.
Just work and
And travel?
travel
And any particular places you'd like to go when you travel, or how often you'd like to be able to go?
we like the beach. But
Okay. All right. So close, more weekend trips?
yeah, weekend trips.
Okay. Good.
If
Perfect.
we won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be on a little more extravagant. So.
Okay. Good. Well, you kind of won the lottery because you met me, so it's all
Oh,
good.
yes,
Yeah.
that's very
Right.
true.
Okay. So, anyway, That's all great. And we're gonna make sure that we pull this back out, right, for the short-term goals. But like I said before, I form lifetime relationships with my clients. Okay. So the next question might be a little bit far out because you're kind of on the younger side, right? You're just starting out on your career, but just if you can think big, and if you don't have great answers for it right now, that's okay, because we'll always revisit this. But let's think a little bit longer. And now it's kind of a two-part question. When we're sitting here 20 years from now or 25 years from now, you're a lot closer to the end of your career, let's say, you're approaching that end, right? And we're looking back on all the great work that we've done together. What will you want to have accomplished in your life to feel like it's a success? And then the second part of that question is sort of, and you may not have thought about this yet, but if you have, thinking about retirement, because you mentioned it already, what does that look like for you when you envision what you might like to do when you step off into every day's a Saturday?
Gosh, it seems so far away. It's hard, but how do you plan for that? I don't know. There's so many unknowns out there, but we just hope that we make good decisions now, so that moving forward, they are, we're happy and not regretting what we did, and just try and not spend more than we make and manage those things appropriately. But I think we're probably still in the Charlotte area, where our families are here, and family is important.
Good. So help me understand a little bit. You had mentioned that you might want to have kids, and your families are here, and your parents are generously paying for your wedding, which is phenomenal. Can you help me understand, when you think about kids and college and maybe grad school, like med school or something like that, what are yours and Matt's attitudes towards money, funding education, things like that?
Well, my parents paid for my school. Well, I paid for my own school, technically. I played sports.
Okay.
So I ran around to pay for that. But his parents gave some money towards his college, but I know he had student loans coming out of school. So, education is really important to us. And I think that if we can, have the ability to save for our kids' college, then absolutely, as we want them to go. But if it's detrimental to our retirement, I think that would create a problem for our kids when they come out of school. So I think there's a healthy balance there, but obviously it's really important to us and something we want to save for if we can.
Good. That's a very astute observation. It might cause more problems down the road for them, right? Very good. Anything as far as, like you said, it's hard to plan for, but if you were thinking about, okay, we've structured your money the right way and you've got what you want to spend, anything you want to make sure that you can do long-term, things you're passionate about. You said you play sports. I don't know if you want to have time to coach them, or if you want to have like a philanthropy or a passion that you like to do, anything like that you want to make sure that as a quality of life you get to make sure that you do it.
I think we're young, and the economy is scary, so you hear about people that they retire and they don't have enough money and they're having to change their lifestyle. So we want to avoid that, obviously, be able to live the way we live. Stop working, but we like to be involved in things and family. So just I think having the freedom to choose to be able to do those things versus being tied down to not be able to do those things would be ideal.
Good. Perfect. Excellent. Well, that brings up my next question, because you mentioned a couple of things. You said the economy's scary and people are retiring with not enough money. So what other types of things, what threats or things that you might foresee that could possibly get in the way of you being able to accomplish these goals in your life?
I mean, gosh, there's the obvious one, what happens if somebody dies.
Okay.
If Matt passes away or I pass away, what does that do to us? Hopefully we have family that would help, but again, it's something scary to plan for. If we have kids, it just gets worse. We could lose our jobs.
Okay. Tell me what you mean by lose your jobs.
Well, I think he could get laid off, or something could happen to me where I wouldn't be able to practice
like
medicine anymore.
Like a sickness or an injury or something like that. Okay. And as far as job security, you said you might get laid off. Do you feel like at this point that the two of you have pretty secure jobs, or is that an imminent possibility?
I think they're pretty secure,
Okay.
but it's always a possibility.
Sure.
And things happen.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you can plan for that, but
That's why you're here.
you can.
All right, good. What else? Anything else that maybe worries you or that you think about? Like you said, the economy. Do you think about the markets?
Yeah, I mean, the market, we don't have a huge sum of money right now, but I've heard about parents and parents' friends losing half of their net worth in an instant. So things like that are obviously scary, but what do you do
Right.
to avoid them?
Well, we'll get to some of that about what you do to avoid them. As far as you and Matt and your attitude towards your investments, like you said, they're not very big now, maybe your retirement accounts, but do you open the statements all the time? Are you constantly looking at it, or is it more like, I don't even open those and I don't pay attention? How much would you say you pay attention to that?
I think that we just like to have some systematic things, like we both do our 401ks
Okay.
and try to save a little bit, but do we quite know what's inside of all these accounts? No.
Okay.
I think just the feeling that you're doing something is enough for us, but it's
Okay.
also scary at the same time. So we definitely would like some clarity about what's in our accounts.
Sure,
and
sure.
if we're in the right stuff.
All right, great. And you mentioned you both have family here in town. How old are your parents and Matt's parents?
My parents are late 50s.
Late 50s, so
Yeah.
pretty young.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have siblings?
I have a sister.
Okay. Does Matt have siblings?
He has a sister and brother.
Okay. Are they all here in town, your siblings?
His sister's in Greensboro, but
Okay.
the rest are around.
Okay, so fairly close to the parents. And
Mhm.
do you know if anything were to happen, like you said, it might cause a problem later if you didn't save for retirement? Do you have any idea if something happened to one of your parents? Is there a plan, or have you and Matt ever discussed that? Them being on the young side, I can understand if you haven't, but just checking it seems like you and the siblings might be responsible for making sure they're okay, or
Yeah, I mean,
you know
that's
about
a
that?
great question. We've never thought about that, but my parents are financially well off, and his parents got divorced a couple years back, so I don't think that they would be in the same place financially as my parents.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think if something were to happen, my parents would be okay, and his may have issues.
Okay. All right. Well, as we walk through time together, we'll flesh that out a little bit more and see if there's anything that we can do.
Yeah.
All right. Last question on this one. Do you think about taxes at all? Do you worry about that kind of stuff in the market and the taxes that you're paying or might be paying or anything like that ever come up in your head?
Gosh, I have no idea. I think
Okay.
that's the thing that's the scariest part to me.
Okay.
We have a CPA, and they
Okay.
do something and tell us that we owe or don't owe, and who knows if it's right or not, and
Okay.
who knows what taxes and interest rates,
Okay.
inflation, all that stuff. It's almost something you're so afraid of that you just kind of don't want to address it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, because I mean that's important, and it's helpful for me to know who else you have in your world that's helping you. Any other people that you have aside from your CPA that meet with you on a regular basis about some of this stuff?
I don't think so. I mean, they always bring people into the hospital to talk to us about this and that, but
Okay.
you never really know if it's actually applicable to you or not.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, it's great. That's why it's great you're here, because you'll be ahead of the game. We'll have some specific talks around these goals and these things that you might be worried about. Now, we talked a little bit before about how we go through this. This is so important. We're going to pull this out in every meeting to make sure that the wish list is the same and that we're taking care of some of the what we call dangers. We'll check some of these off. We'll pull this out long term. You'll be able to see how you've accomplished these things.
Yeah.
Some of these are quicker fixes than others. Some of them they'll dive in and we'll have to do a little bit more work to get to them. So the next step is really to get some data to find out that information.